All right, so let's focus on graphing this function. I'm going to put our usual x values here. This just helps me to figure out where things are. It's up to you on how you label your axes. So I like to do the usual, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. And then the reverse. Then label my y-axis. Okay, and then next step, let's go ahead and put our x values on here. All right, I'm gonna put, let's see, maybe a little star will be helpful. All right, so pi over 4, what does that go? It goes between 0 and negative pi over 2. Maybe I'll put a little star here that says this is x equals negative pi over 4, because I know you all don't write in different colors like I do. Next is 0, so I'm going to put a star here to say this is my next one. All right, then we got pi over 4. Then we got pi over 2. And then we got 3 pi over 4. Okay. All right, I'll do a little xy axes just so we know what's happening. Maybe I'll scooch this over. 3 cosine 2x plus pi over 2. All right, remember the pattern for cosine. It's 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. However, we're stretching it by 3, so we need to multiply our y values by 3. So instead of 1, 0, we're going to go 3, 0, negative 3, 0, 3. So that's our pattern. Okay, and then our x values. All right, now all that's left to do is to plot these. So at negative pi over 4, we are at 3. At 0, we are at 0. Maybe green wasn't the best color. At pi over 2, we're, at pi over 4, we're at negative 3. Pi over 2, we're at 0. And then at 3 pi over 4, we are at 3. All right, so it looks something like this. And these will go back down. But I really just care about being able to graph one period. All right, so this is our graph. All right, cosine always looks weird when you just do one period. Okay, so this is the pattern that we always use to graph our functions. All right, now just to make sure that we know our vocabulary and we know how to find all the things, we just want to determine the period, amplitude, and phase shift for each one of these functions. So I'll remind us we have a sine of bx plus c, and we have a cosine of bx plus c. All right, so to find these things, it's helpful to know a, b, and c. All right, so for the first problem, negative 2 sine of 3x minus 7, our a is negative 2, b is 3, c is negative 7. Okay. All right, so first question is, what is the period of our graph? So we remember how we find period. So it's 2, that's a b right there. It's kind of small. 2 pi over 3. That's how long before this graph repeats. Okay. Amplitude, it's the absolute value of a. So that's the distance between the middle of our graph and the top or the bottom of it. And then our phase shift, negative c over b. Negative, okay, c is negative 7, B is 3. So phase shift is 7 over 3. So we're moving 7 over 3 units to the right. All right, let's look at the next one. Cosine of pi x over 3. So we have to know what's A, B, and C. So all right, nothing's here, so A is 1. B is the thing in front of x, so that would be pi over 3. And then C is what we're adding to it, so C is pi. And we're going to do the same thing, find the period, amplitude, and phase shift. Using our formulas, 2 pi over the absolute value of B. All right, so remember, we can multiply by the reciprocal. So the period is 6, so it's going to go 6 units before it repeats. The amplitude is just the absolute value of our A, so that's just 1. And then the phase shift, C is pi, B is pi over 3. Pi's are going to cancel, so that gives us our -3. Okay, so make sure you know the formulas for all of these and how to find these 3 different things.